This day last year, I was broke. I had just quit my job. I was a college dropout. I had no idea how to build an online business. I had been trying to figure it out for years. And then I finally figured it out. And I made my first $10,000 in June. I made my first $30,000 in August. And I made my first $50,000 in January. And I'm going to break down exactly what I did so you guys can figure out what's the best vehicle for you to make your first $5, $10, $15,000 online as a young entrepreneur. So if you're just getting started, this is the video where I'm going to show you exactly what that process looked like for me and then how you can duplicate it in your own life. Because it wasn't just like in 30 days I made $10,000. It was actually years of me trying different things, testing different business models, and then finally figuring out what made money and what was something I actually enjoyed doing. So there's a lot of different ways you guys can make money, and you'll get to kind of see some of the options and then pick what makes the most sense based on your skill set, how much money you want to make, what you enjoy, because you really want to be passionate. Like whatever you're doing, especially if you want to do it long term, it's got to be something you're interested in. And I know it's cliche and everyone says that, but genuinely, if you think about like the people that are just working in a business model because they want to make a lot of money versus you, if you're passionate about it, you're going to be thinking about that business model that you're passionate about day in, day night. You're going to go to bed sleeping about, you're going to go to sleep thinking about it. You're going to wake up in the morning thinking about it. You're going to be constantly building it and growing it because it's what you like to do. It's what you would do in your free time anyway. So if you find something you're passionate about, it's not like a must-have, but it's really, really good to have that passion because you will grow so much faster than other people. And then pair that with an insane work ethic and you're golden. So starting with literally step 0, like I put 0. I got a dream. This is what you got to do first. You have to figure out something that you're genuinely like excited about. And this isn't necessarily a dream business-wise. This is just my lifestyle dream. I was making this, I think 4 years ago with my friend Teresa, back when I was living with my parents in New Jersey. And I just put pictures of all the things that I wanted, some sailing pictures, hiking pictures, and I don't know what she's got over here. She's got a plane. We're talking about private jets and like a car. I see all that. So we were just like planning out the life we wanted to have long before we had any idea how we were going to create it. And that's actually step number 1. And what you can see in the corner of this picture here is even more important. It's a list of 100 dreams written out of things I wanted to do. Things like public speaking, things like taking care of my parents, buying them a house, things like traveling the world. Some of those things are already done. And it's crazy because when I wrote this list, I was thinking like 10 years out. And so things happen a lot faster than you realize, especially when you visualize them. But I'm not some kind of manifestation guru. This is just like the facts. Like if you have a picture in your mind of what you want to accomplish, you're going to be so much clearer on what you have to do to get there. So it's not like, oh, put it on a board and then sit back and like let manifestation do its thing. That's not going to work for you. But if you put it on a board and then you genuinely go take the action required to get there, it's going to be much clearer what kind of action you have to take. So that was step number 1. I got a dream. Next, I learned networking. So I don't know why people are always shocked by this, but I was very shy in high school. I was like probably the shyest person I knew. I literally ate lunch in the nurse's office. I skipped every school day I could. I took sick days when I most definitely was not sick. And I actually dropped out of high school early. So like I was homeschooled and then I went to a high school. I got through half the year, hated it so much I dropped out. And then I went to a different high school and graduated from that high school. But I just hated it. I was so shy. I was so awkward. And so I had dreams. I knew I wanted to accomplish all these things, but I did not have the skill set, the social skills, did not have the confidence in myself mostly. And I knew that that was something I needed to get over. So I started getting out of my comfort zone. The conversations I would have were so awkward because I forced myself to have conversations with strangers every single day for 2 years straight. And like actual substantial conversations. And what happened was I actually met some of my best friends. Like one of my best friends, it was one of the days I had to have a conversation with a stranger. I hadn't had one yet. And I see this girl in the ice cream aisle at the grocery market. And I went up to her and I don't know what I said, something about like what ice cream flavor is she getting or whatever. And I just started a conversation and we have been friends now for like 3 or 4 years, and she's like one of my best friends. Like she's in business too. It's super cool. But yeah, just like old school networking. Like I was going to business conferences. I was 19 at this event. I think I was 19 here as well. I got invited to like, it was basically like a 4th of July pool party kind of thing. But this lady was like my hero. She was an entrepreneur. She wasn't like the host of the party. She was one of the guests there. But she had like retired at 25. She had built all these like different businesses, and I just thought she was the coolest person in the world. So I remember just like being at this event and just like wanted to talk to everyone. I was the youngest person there, and I just wanted to learn. Like I just wanted to get around them. I had no offer. I had nothing to sell them. I just wanted to learn how they had done what they had done. So I started going to those events like very regularly, like investing every penny I had, I was working as a waitress at the time, I was investing every penny I had to go back to more events and travel. And next, this is something that's really good and kind of like underrated, is project management. So I dropped out of college at 19 and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew I was not just going to sit around and wait for something to hit me in the face and tell me what to do. So I started working 9 to 5, and I worked that 9 to 5 job knowing I didn't want to do that forever, but knowing that I also needed money to fund whatever it was I was going to do in the future. And I think that's really smart for young people to do, is like work a 9 to 5 job, and if you can, work at a startup. Because if you work at a startup, you're going to learn project management in a way that's very tangible, and it's going to be very helpful when you start your own business, because you're going to learn systems like I learned Asana, I learned Monday, Trello. Those are just systems that allow you to manage products online. And so I learned those skills. And this is actually a shot from a construction job. I was managing a crew of painters. I think in this picture, this was when I was going to inspect the paint job. I don't know why. I probably was just taking a picture to show to the boss something that was wrong. I don't know what it is here, and then this is like some Snapchat. Another note, delete Snapchat if you want to be successful. That's not a rule, but it's my rule. When you're an account manager for a fashion company and they ask you to model, this was like a job that I actually worked more recently. I think that was 2022. And I managed all of their sales for high ticket clients, and was just basically project management, but I was also managing communication with the clients. And I remember everything was templatized. Everything was so AI could have done my job. But I still learned the systems that were super valuable. And yeah, they did ask me to model when they had some fashion items they wanted to promote, which, oh my gosh, ugly sweater contest or something. And I was getting out of my comfort zone all the time. I literally was so scared in this moment. I think I was sweating. I was probably just a wreck behind the door, but I had to walk on stage in front of 3,000 people and introduce myself at this conference. I don't know why. They made people that were new to the conference introduce themselves. It was actually really good because I got out of my comfort zone. I got on stage. It was super cool. And I learned sales. So I was selling super cheap products, door to door, selling makeup, selling hair care, basic stuff. But I started getting good at it. I started really making some waves. I started building a sales team. And so this is just step one of me learning a skill. This is where you're so new that it actually doesn't really matter what you learn. It just has to be one of those things that's tied to business. It's like sales, marketing, copywriting, video editing, graphic design. Those skills will help you in any business model. So find the skills that every business uses and learn one of them, one at a time. So I was learning sales here, and I started creating content at the same time as I was learning what the heck I was doing. I started creating content. I started getting better and better. My first reels, oh my gosh, you guys can scroll back my Instagram. They were so annoying. I feel bad for the friends that I had that followed me, because they were just these motivational B-roll reels with quotes on the screen, and I thought that they would go viral. I don't know why, because everyone tries to go viral with those and it doesn't work. So anyways, I got better at that. I started creating unique content. You can see here I'm talking to the camera, started getting more comfortable on camera, started meeting some cool people. And next thing, I learned how to sell with content. So first I learned sales for little tiny products. Then I learned how to create content for myself while also working a job. And then I quit my job last February and learned how to actually create content that was going to convert people. This is where things took a change, because I was barely making any money from this. I was barely making any money in this phase. I was making no money from content. I actually lost money. And then I quit my job and I had to make money. So I learned how to build a funnel, how to create valuable content that was going to convert people into paying leads. And these are some of the clients I started working with. Just as soon as I started doing that, I started going to events where I could actually sign clients. That's when I started making real money. So I started working with some of these school game winners. You guys can see, you might recognize Max Pearson. You might recognize some of these names. They're pretty big in the whole school community world. But I got really obsessed with school for a while. And so I was just working exclusively with school games people and worked with quite a few. Got them really good results. And that's kind of what catapulted me into being able to charge more. So I started charging higher ticket. I actually learned high ticket from this guy, Ted Carr. So if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you might have heard me mention, I invested into a coaching program with my last savings after I quit my job. And Ted was the guy that I invested into his coaching. And I had no offer, no skill set, no business, nothing. And I invested $2,000 to just get on group calls with him. So I took a massive risk with no idea if it was going to pay off, but I knew that I would rather take the risk and have it not pay off than not take the risk and wonder what would have happened. So I took the risk, thank God. And I learned high ticket sales. Ted sells $15,000 packages. He's really, really good with high ticket. And so he just absolutely destroyed all the limiting beliefs I had that like maybe I couldn't sell that high ticket. And so that allowed me to then start selling way more high ticket like packages for my clients and also high ticket packages myself. And then next, this is more recently, this is in January in London, I learned how to build a team. I got my team together for a team trip, and it was super cool. Just like we co-worked for like a week. But the biggest thing I've learned is like how to communicate, how to like communicate a vision, how to communicate goals, and how to really like build a culture in a team in a way that's like making everyone better and to bring together diverse skill sets. And I've worked with some really, really awesome people who aren't in these pictures, but that has been probably one of the hardest skills to learn. And next I learned systems. So I learned how to organize everything. This is Asana. There's a lot of different systems, a lot of different automations that we use in the back end of the agency just to make things easier for us and for our clients. And next I learned how to get results for other people. So like this $9.99 a month, like I have coaching that I do, group coaching. And so I learned how to like get results and help other people do this. So like you see here, I made $4K in 46 days. Maya signed a $2,700 client. So I help people that were looking to be copywriters build a skill set that was much more valuable than just copywriting so that they could charge way more. And like learning how to teach people how to do that was so fun because it was a different level. Like when you have to teach something, you really, really, really have to know it. Like sometimes you know how to do something for yourself, but if you want to transfer that skill to someone else, that takes a different level of understanding. So that just made me better. So if you want to learn how to make money online and you're under 25, these are the 4 ways I would recommend. I'm going to kind of go through this so you can take what I just shared of my story and see maybe where you relate to that and fit this into your goals. So these are like just some of the things that I personally have experience with and have marketed for. So there's core skills before we get into the actual business that you're going to be doing. I don't know, my computer's being funky, but the like basic things you need are foundational knowledge. I would start by reading some books about communication if you're just getting started. Like there's some really, really good books like The Art of Influence, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Compound Effect will teach you really good things about like habit stacking, how to organize your time, how to like create really, really good routines. And those are just like really good foundations to have and learn how to communicate with people, learn how to set good goals, and then start getting some technical abilities. By the way, these things can happen at the same time. Like they literally, you don't need to wait until you've read 20 books to go and start learning the skill of marketing or, you know, learning how to run a Shopify store, whatever it is you're going to do. But these are some of the technical abilities you want to start learning. You want to understand basic design skills, marketing, platform knowledge, like whatever platform you're hosting your business on. That could be school, that could be Shopify, that could be Instagram, even if maybe you're an affiliate marketer. So you want to start learning the technical skills, and we're going to get into exactly what that looks like. And then advanced skills like strategic thinking, how to create an offer that people actually want to buy. There's so many people out there that are creating offers that like they want to sell, but nobody wants to buy. So actually creating an offer people want to buy that there's demand for already is a massive advanced skill. And then client management, like how do you communicate with your clients? How do you make sure their user experience is as incredible as possible and seamless and easy? That's really like meta. That's like once you've been in business for a while, so don't even worry about that yet. But number one, and you're gonna see all of these like all over, so I'm breaking them down. I'm gonna rate them and tell you which ones I think are best. Dropshipping comes up first because that's just like all over the place. I think it's something a lot of people can do, and because of that, I think a lot of people fail because there's so many people out there doing it. There's a lot of different things that can go wrong. There's a lot of different ways you could lose money on ads or marketing, but that goes for every business. So like the pros of dropshipping is you can get started with pretty low startup capital. You just basically need to find profitable products. And I'm going to say right now, I haven't done dropshipping. I looked into it for a while and I just realized I didn't want to deal with physical products because that's like quality insurance and like there's so many different things with suppliers and things that can go wrong with like, you know, the manufacturer messes something up. So I had my experience in drop shipping when I was working for a company that sourced all of their products overseas. And then I also had it when I did an actual copywriting project for a drop shipper and marketed his course, and I had to learn all about what he did. But basically what you want to do is find profitable products, set up a store, find suppliers, and market your products. You are literally just the person that's like bringing them together and creating a marketplace. So you're taking a good product, you're taking a buyer, and you're just putting them in the same place. You don't have to have inventory, you don't have to do any of that. So that's dropshipping. You probably are going to see videos all over about it. I personally wouldn't do it. I already explained why, but I'll rate them at the end. Next one, probably also seen, I've talked about it. It's literally on my phone case, says school, is school. So a school community is a great way to monetize like your knowledge or your passion or a skill set you have or something that you just really love. And you start by just finding a niche. You find a niche and you start, oh, won't let me zoom, but you create a community around something that you just enjoy doing, and then you're gonna build that community out. So you're gonna start putting course materials in there, you go live, whatever, you teach your subject matter. And then you create some value that like where you're getting people results, you're helping them accomplish maybe like get a six-pack if you're a fitness person, or you're helping them create a diet plan, or you're helping them maybe figure out how to launch their Instagram content, something you're good at that you can teach. And then you monetize it, or maybe it's already like monetized, but a lot of people do a free to a paid membership. And another thing that's cool now about school is that affiliates are a thing. So you can get other people to market your product if you have a good affiliate commission. So like I think the best one is 40%. But you can go like anywhere from 10 to 40% and just give anyone that sends a customer to you a percentage, because you're not having to do anything. It's just adding revenue to your month. So that's one way. I personally have made thousands of dollars on school. So that's definitely a good option if you have a skill that you want to monetize. Option number 3, which I probably talk about the most, is copywriting. And that's just knowing how to persuade people online. I don't think you should be trading hours for dollars, but generally, like I see people charging in this range starting out. And then like if I were to do an hour, I can just tell you right now, I did $499 last time I did an hour consulting. So that varies with experience. And then there's all sorts of platforms. You want to know at least 5. So you want to be like able to write very well for Instagram, for different like social platforms, so TikTok, YouTube. You want to be able to write for sales pages, emails. Those are the main things, but also ads. You definitely want to know ads. And then having different capacities. So being able to write scripted content versus like a tweet versus an email. Like those are things you really want to have a wide set of skills. I would never pick a niche in copywriting. I would never pick one type of copy to write because the principles are the same. So why limit yourself on what you could offer your clients? But that's number 3. Number 4 is funnel building. This is high leverage copywriting. So basically, you're doing everything from attracting clients to converting clients. You're attracting clients, engaging them, which is just building the intrigue in your client's product. So not to get this confused, but like you're attracting clients for your client. So let's say this is your client. You're going in and you're finding their leads. You're then bringing their leads through this process of nurturing them, creating some intrigue, and then converting them to a buying customer for your client. And the more buying customers you get for your client, ideally, the more you should charge. So you always want to make at least a 5x for your client of whatever you charge. But you could earn up to $100K with this kind of package because you're eliminating the need for them to hire out a bunch of other people. So as opposed to just writing a headline, you're building the entire sales page, you're integrating it with their CRM, you're doing the follow-up emails, you're doing sales calls potentially, you're finding a salesperson to do sales calls. And I'll just give the example of my client because I'm fully building out his funnel. I am doing everything from like scripting his content to then taking it in, outsourcing the editing, posting his content for him. I manage all of the posting, the engagement. I have someone managing his community, and then like actually putting out ads, putting out like marketing materials, emails, bringing leads in, nurturing them, getting them on sales calls. I hired the rep and trained him, and then actually converting them into clients and then keeping them as clients. So like everything. The client just had to pay me and I built his entire business. So if you can do that, you can charge like $20K as opposed to just $2K as a copywriter. Because a funnel takes people from everywhere from like literally just cold leads. This is actually backwards. It's everywhere from cold to warm. From like, random strangers on the internet to actual buying clients. And ideally, I would say you want to charge high ticket. Like you want your clients to be charging high ticket so you can make them a return as fast as possible. And that just means like, if you have a client that sells a $29 membership and then you have to go and generate them like 2,000 sales to be able to make them like, I can't do that math, but anyways, to be able to make them like, I don't know, 60 grand, that's a lot of sales. 2,000 sales sucks. But if they charge $2,000 a package, you can literally just go and sell 30 people and make them 60 grand. So personally as a copywriter, I prefer to do that. And yeah, the copywriting is just persuading people to buy one specific thing in a specific setting. A funnel is like literally including the entire picture of their business. The complete picture of what you get to charge then is premium pricing because you're doing the full business, like everything. And then like you have a long-term relationship because you're so integrated. You're an indispensable kind of person, a partnership that like they need in order for their business, not just to continue to grow, but also just to operate in the first place. So you become really valuable to that business owner and they're way less likely to churn. Because a lot of copywriting clients, when I was starting out, would like be brand new business owners who'd pay me $2,000 but not have enough money for the next month. And so then they churn and then I'd have to go and find new clients. And I don't like doing that. So I like to work with people that have a big business already, want to grow it even bigger, and I can do their full funnel to make sure everything, not only like am I charging more, but I'm also making sure they're converting way better because I get to touch every piece of their business and make sure it's all unified, make sure it all makes sense and flows together. And yes, it's a lot more work. But it's a holistic understanding, and then you're just having multiple skills. So you also know graphic design, you probably also know editing, you probably know a few other things that you're just gonna pick up as you sign clients. So when you only offer one service, you're just like replaceable. They can find another copywriter that can come in and do that. But if you do everything for their business, you're indispensable. And yeah, funnel builders are just solving the business problems. Like you might come in and solve their offer problem. That's what I do for a lot of clients, and find an offer from that actually works. So those are the different kinds of like actual like businesses you can choose from. I obviously am a little biased because I do the funnel building and I make a lot of money doing that. But there's a lot of different routes out there. And like you ultimately want to find something you can actually get excited about. So if you're really excited about coffee, maybe you start like drop shipping coffee. I'm rethinking that already because I already know how much money coffee businesses lose. It's terrible, like Emma Chamberlain. But ultimately, choose your path. Find something you're passionate about. Work for free. Get some experience, get some clients. You don't have to do this for a long time, by the way. You can do that for a week. Invest in learning. Like I told you guys, I worked with Ted Carr, and I invested a lot of money, and I was a very unqualified lead because I had no experience with business. But because of that, I was able to learn so much faster. And also, I got clients out of the group with Ted because they were experienced business owners. And so there's massive benefit in just like finding people that are a couple steps ahead of you that can help you out. So there's that. And then, yeah, there's one more thing I think here. Network. Yeah, that's how I find all of my clients. So once you learn a skill set that you can offer to people, if it's marketing, if it's funnel building, if it's copywriting, if it's video editing, if it's graphic design, assuming you're in a service business, you want to network. And if you're in like drop shipping, it's still valuable to network because you'll learn, but it's less valuable because you're not going to get direct clients out of that. But ultimately, networking is going to be the most valuable asset that you can have in any business, because if something goes under, something goes wrong, and you can just call up a friend and be like, hey, what do I do? Like, hey, I just got this like, this legal letter, or this tax thing I just ran into, or like PayPal just shut down my funds. Like those are all things I've run into. And I just call up people I trust in business. I'm like, hey, what do I do? That is so much more valuable than just having a bunch of clients. But if you're a copywriter, the cool thing is it does both. You network and you find valuable connections, and you also find clients. So hopefully that's helpful. If you guys want to learn more about actually building a funnel so that you can charge 10K plus for just one client, book a call below. I'm happy to strategize with you. I do not talk to everyone. You have to be someone that like is really, really serious about learning the skill, making money online, and you're also a really hard worker. And if that's the case, I would love to talk to you more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.